Hello everybody and welcome to this week's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Dante Centofanti.
And I'm Austin Arnold.
The Kent State lacrosse team traveled to Youngstown, Ohio for a MAC showdown with the Youngstown State University Penguins. The Flashes continued their excellent stretch of lacrosse on Sunday, beating the Penguins 19-10. Kent State has won back-to-back games for the first time in program history after taking down Presbyterian and YSU this past week. Madison Ray-Pierre led the team with 5 goals against the Penguins on Sunday. Abby Jones made history during Sunday's game, becoming the first Kent State lacrosse player to record 100 career points. The Flashes are 2-1 in MAC play, and they will look to continue their third straight game Thursday against the Central Michigan Chippewas.
And from lacrosse to baseball, the Golden Flashes baseball team fell to 8-11 after losing 3 out of 4 to the Dayton Flyers this weekend. Kent State won Saturday's contest 11-3 behind another masterful pitching performance from Luke Albright, who threw 6 shutout innings and struck out 5. Nick Elson led the Flashes offensively with hitting this weekend, hitting .357, including a grand slam in Saturday's game. The Flashes were unable to take home the series win as they fell in 2 7-game doubleheaders. On Sunday, Kent State looks to bounce back in a 4-game weekend series at Bowling Green.
Let's get to the softball team. They continued conference play in a 4-game series with the Northern Illinois Huskies over the weekend. The Flashes kicked things off, winning both of the doubleheader games on Friday, following up with a 10-8 extra innings victory on Saturday. The Flashes dropped the final leg of the series on Sunday 7-5, but took home the series win, 3-1. Kent State returns to the Diamond at Dix next weekend to host the Ohio University Bobcats in a 4-game conference series.
The Kent State field hockey team continued their streak with a pair of wins over the Appalachian State Mountaineers over the weekend. For the Friday victory, it was a trio of goals in the third quarter that put the Golden Flashes ahead 3-2. And on Saturday, a goal by the senior sharpshooter Clara Rodriguez in the 9th minute gave Kent State the defensive 1-0 win. The 5-1 Golden Flashes will be back in action next weekend as they travel to Oxford to take on the Miami Redhawks for a Friday and Saturday showdown.
After being awarded third place in the MAC championships, the Kent State gymnastics team is headed to Morgantown, the Morgantown Regional in West Virginia on April 2nd for the 2020 NCAA Gymnastics Championships. The Morgantown Regional will take place on the 10-year anniversary of the 2011 Kent State team's second-place regional finish, which led to the program's only national championship appearance. The Flashes will compete in Session 2 at 7 p.m. on Friday, where they will face off with Michigan, UCLA, and the winner of Penn State and West Virginia.
Kent State soccer team fell to the Akron Zips last night by a final score of 1-0. Akron got on the board first in the 15th with a Sidney Worthy goal, and the Flashes had several opportunities for the equalizer, including in the 89th minute when Kiosha Donker hit the far post on a shot that just missed the back of the net. Goalkeeper Sarah Millen played very well, holding the Zips to 4 shots on 3 goals and recording 3 saves in that. The Flashes look to bounce back Thursday against Buffalo.
And the volleyball team finished their spring season this weekend, losing 2 matches at Western Michigan. The Golden Flashes finished 5th in the Mid-American Conference standings with a 12-9 record. Their .521 winning percentage is the best conference winning percentage for the team since 2015. The Flashes will look to build on that success from this season, returning a number of starters, including stars Alex Hafner and Savannah Matthews.
Kaylee McGinty continued her dominant streak with a career-low 54-hole tournament score and individual honors as she led the Kent State women's golf team to a win at the Clemson Invitational. The Golden Flashes finished the weekend with a 12-under 852 score for their second tournament win of the season. McGinty led the way on Sunday, setting a record of 66 at the course while sinking 7 birdies. As a team, Kent State led the tournament with 50 total birdies and scored the lowest on par 5 holes. The Flashes returned to action April 17th and 18th in Bloomington for the Indiana Invitational.
Now the men's golf team went into today's round in the lead for the Hootie at Bulls Bay Intercollegiate after posting an opening round score of -10. Cade Brennenstein led the Flashes in a 3-way tie for first place at -4 following the opening round. As a team, the Flashes led the tournament on par 3 holes, par 5 holes, and birdies. In today's round, the team maintained the -10 score, but dropped to 4th place in the field and will finish out competition in the final round tomorrow. Let's get to the top plays. Let's go to field hockey. Clara Rodriguez-Sato goes inside and gets the game-winning goal for the Kent State field hockey team.
And number 4, Caitlin Holland beats her defender and shoots it behind the net for a goal. back right corner.
Number 3, Dayton pops up the sack fly, and the Kent State catcher Michael Turner dives and makes the web gem catch.
Number 2, Katie Worsley gets the ball and hits the shot in between the goalie's legs. What a shot.
And at number 1, softball catcher Carly Selly throws down to Julia Mazinek, who dives and makes the catch and tags the runner out. And when we come back, could Surfboard Shorty roll tide on Alabama to get to the Elite Eight? The March Madness continues when we come back.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, and she convinced me to continue my education. No one receives a diploma alone. If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back to Sports Corner, everybody. UCLA and Alabama, this game had it all. And let's go ahead and get to Butler University for that game. First play of the highlight, David Singleton shoots it from Los Angeles from downtown, and the Bruins are up. Later on, John Petty Jr., my goodness, throw it down 2 hands, and the Crimson Tide were rolling there. Javon Quinterly to Joshua Primo. That's a nice bucket for him as well. As Herb Jones for the Crimson Tide yet again. That time he finds Jawan Gary for the slam. I'm getting too excited because here's the play that made the game. Alex Reese, Walker, Texas Ranger, walking him down and hits the cold-blooded 3 to send it to overtime. But Jamie Yaquez, that's game. The Bruins are going to the Elite Eight. Final score 88-78. UCLA gets Michigan now.
Let's go. Number 3, Arkansas taking on number 15, Oral Roberts. Arkansas having one of their best seasons since 1994. Oral Roberts looking to continue their Cinderella run. First half, Oral Roberts is up 2. And as we get to the game, yes, sir, Oral Roberts is up 2. Carlos Juergens takes advantage of the Arkansas miscommunication and takes it to the hole for a 2-hand slam. Then Roberts up by 1. Kareem Thompson bounce pass to Kevin O'Bainer. O'Bainer finished with 12 points and 11 rebounds in this game. Second half we go, 57-52 Oral Roberts. An inbounds pass to Moses Moody finds a bucket. He finished with 14 points. Razorbacks down by 2 with over 7 to go. Moody misses a deep 3, but Devontae Davis gets the rebound and the jumper to tie the game at 58. Then Kevin O'Bainer again with a fake and a drive to the basket plus the foul. Oral Roberts, will they go to the Elite Eight and be another Cinderella run? Here we go, 70-70, all tied up. 7 seconds left. Arkansas says, Devontae Davis, give us the lead. He goes, I got you, fam. March Madness at its finest. Cold-blooded shot. But can Oral Roberts keep dancing? They're driving up the floor. They had a good look to send them to the Elite Eight, but it's off the rim, and the contest judge taps their shoulder. Final score, Oral Roberts 70, Arkansas 72. They are going to the Elite Eight. Woo Pig Suey.
Hello, I'm Jeremiah Hernandez, here to break down March Madness. Let's start with this Gonzaga and Creighton matchup. In this Sweet 16 matchup at Hinkle Fieldhouse, Gonzaga came out hot as they always do. Jalen Suggs to Nemhard for the easy slam in transition. Next play, we got Joel Ayayi with the 3, hand in the face, but it's still cash to put Gonzaga up by 9. Marcus Zagorowski did all he can in this one to try to help pull Creighton to a win against the #1 team in the nation. Wasn't enough though, but here he hits this 3, put him in within 2, but Gonzaga was just too much for them to handle, and Gonzaga came out hot in the second half. Nemhard again to Timmy for the slam, put them up, and then we have Corey Kispert, first-team All-American, the freshman phenom Jalen Suggs for the lay, putting Gonzaga up 20. Nemhard again to Timmy with the and 1. He's been playing phenomenal this tournament. Creighton loses to Gonzaga to the Elite Eight.
Jeremiah, thank you for that breakdown, man. We just want to get to your picks. How does, just in the Elite Eight bracket, how do you see that faring?
I think the Elite Eight is just a tough bracket to decide because all these teams have a bunch of different seeds to them. I think that my first Final Four prediction was busted because Oregon State beat Loyola, who I had in the Final Four, and 11th seed UCLA with an impressive win over Alabama. It's a new week, so I can make some new predictions. I'm going to say Oregon State's run comes to an end tonight, and I think Baylor handles Arkansas with ease. Tuesday has 2 great games with Gonzaga playing USC. I think Evan Mobley has been playing a phenomenal level, and Gonzaga has some trouble inside. I think this might be one of the biggest upsets we've seen in the tournament with USC coming out on top. I also think UCLA is one of the hottest teams in basketball, and they could beat Michigan.
Now, Jeremiah, what team has stood out to you the most in the Sweet 16 field?
I mean, Oral Roberts was definitely one of the teams that stood out to me. Sad that I can't see him play today. But Oregon State, just them being here today, was just something that no one really expected. The Pac-12 teams have all been into the tournament that have done great. Oregon State, UCLA, USC still in there. I think Oregon State was just one of the teams that had a Cinderella story, but they flew under the radar a little bit with their wins against Tennessee, Oklahoma State, and Loyola.
Jeremiah, what players have stood out to you the most during this whole tournament?
Speaking of flying under the radar, Ethan Thompson has slowly been leading this Oregon State team. He's been a solid player all year, averaging around 16 points and 4 assists. He has a mature game. He can get his shots off from anywhere. And if he continues to play how he is, the Beavers will continue to be happy. Another player who I think stood out to me is Drew Timme. Drew Timme has been a great piece all year long for this loaded Gonzaga team. He's been the anchor for them inside, and his consistent play is crucial for this run. They're going to need him to be big if they're going to beat USC.
Now, in terms of entertainment value, what games have stood out the most?
For the entertainment value, Oral Roberts in Arkansas was one of the greatest games you can ask for in March Madness. Arkansas battled back from being down as much as 12, and it came down to one final shot by Max Abmas, the nation's leading scorer. Unfortunately for Oral Roberts, their time in this tournament came to an end, losing by 2 at the buzzer. But all the credit to Oral Roberts for being a 15 seed and fighting as hard as they did, and they really showed out for the low and mid majors in this tournament.
Jeremiah, how do you see this Elite Eight playing out? I mean, I know you gave us your picks earlier, but just how do you see it playing out in the end and ultimately going into the Final Four?
I think with this March Madness, we've just known to expect the unexpected. Like I said, with all these Pac-12 teams in here, no one really thought they'd make it. The lack of Big Ten teams just being Michigan, also something that's surprising. So we'll see how it goes this weekend, and I think that this is going to be a weekend for a week for some upsets.
And I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you, Jeremiah. Opening day is 3 days away for the new look Indians as they prepare for the pesky Detroit Tigers. Find out all the fixings we have served up when we come back.
It's a big responsibility.
Oh, it's huge. I know, it's huge.
And the salary.
Oh my god, yes.
Right?
I mean, like, I was about to move in with my parents, and right before, so this saved me.
I really believe in you, you know?
Thank you. It's nice to hear that from someone.
These are cool. Did you, what did you?
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sports Corner. I'm Matthew Mergen, and the Cavs were on the road yesterday against the Sacramento Kings. What a game this was, right down to the wire. Let's take a look. Here in the fourth quarter, De'Aaron Fox step back three. It's good. Fox took over in this game. He had 36 points. Nice spin move and finish there. And then here's Colin Sexton. Sneaky steal, takes it all the way for the dunk. He had 26 points on the game. And then Fox again on the next one, one-on-one with Sexton. Gets a shot off, and it is good. And one for De'Aaron Fox, and the Cavs are holding on to a slim lead here in the fourth. And then 8 seconds left, down 2. Fox spins, gets to the rim, and it's good, plus the foul, and he would make the free throw. Cavs down 1. Colin Sexton on the break, coast to coast. 3, 2, 1, and it is no good, but goaltending is the call. The Cavs take the lead late, but this one was not over. 1.6 left on the clock. Harrison Barnes catches, turns and throws up a miracle over 2 Cavs defenders, and it is good. Harrison Barnes, the hero for the Kings. Let's look at that again. Gets the 3 and the shot off. Wow, Kings win 198 to send the Cavs home with a heartbreaking last-second defeat.
And let's get into the Cavs discussion. Austin Arnold and Matthew Mergen. The Cavs sit at 17-29, and they are 5 games out of a playoff spot. Matt, how do you see the Cavs looking?
I personally have not been impressed with the Cavs, especially in March. They were 4-8 during the month, and I expected more from this young core. They do have a tough schedule coming up. They play the 76ers, the Jazz, the Heat, and also Zion and the Pelicans here in a few games. This team still has a lot of growing and developing to do, and I hope that they will do better in the future, but I personally don't see this team doing much, especially after the loss of Andre Drummond.
Yes, with the loss of Andre Drummond and for now players like Jared Allen and Isaiah Hartenstein, was just acquired in the deal. With the Cavs doing very little at the trade deadline, do you still see this team being very cohesive, coming to the end of the stretch? And can they find a way to get to the 10th seed?
No, I personally don't think they can compete with any of the teams that are currently sitting in the playoffs, especially if the season ended today. Like I said, they're too young of a team, but they do have a lot of potential. I like the core of Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, and Jared Allen. I do think they have a bright future. It's just not at this point in time.
And again, and it's like you said, you don't think they can compete with anybody down the line. But do you think that in the future, like a year from now, that they could be a team? But do they look like they're on the right track? Or?
I do think they're on the right track. I do think they need to make a few more moves. I like that they have. I think Okoro can also develop for the Cavs. Like I said, those 4 in particular, I think can be standouts for the Cavs. I do think they need to trade Kevin Love and move a few pieces, but then I think they should be a contending team here in a few years.
And opening day for the MLB is set for Thursday. Many of teams getting in action, especially for the Cleveland Indians, who, again, they will play the Detroit Tigers on Thursday. That should be a very good opening series for the Cleveland Indians. And hopefully the Cleveland Indians can get on the right track by getting some wins against the Detroit Tigers, Dante.
My friend Matthew Mergen, how do you think this team will do without Francisco Lindor?
I think the Indians will struggle without Lindor. The Indians historically don't pay their players a lot to stay and instead look for a trade, and that's the direction that they went in. But Lindor is special, I think. They will really miss him this season. I personally would have paid him. That's just me. But I do think they will significantly miss Francisco Lindor on this team.
Do you think Shane Bieber can win back-to-back Cy Young's award, Matt?
I think it will be tough for Shane Bieber to win the Cy Young Award again, but it isn't impossible. He still remains as an elite pitcher in this league.
Who will need to step up for this team to make up for the loss of Frankie?
I think Jose Ramirez will need to step up even more. He was second in MVP voting last year, and the team will need him to keep up his production to compete, especially at bat.
And Matt, let's get to your preseason predictions. Who do you like?
So I got Cleveland's record being 83-79, third in the AL Central. The World Series is going to be Dodgers over the Yankees. My AL MVP is Mike Trout, and my NL MVP is Francisco Lindor. I think he'll have a great season.
That's where I would have to agree with you. My AL MVP will be one of the best 5-tool players in the history of Major League Baseball, Mike Trout. My World Series, I got the Dodgers over the Yankees, LA versus New York, what everybody wants to see, I suppose. And I think the Indians are going to do better than expected. I think you guys should really keep an eye on the Indians. They'll do better than expected. I think they'll finish 85-77, third in the AL Central. And my NL MVP will be Mookie Betts, another 5-tool great player.
And now coming in with my predictions. The Cleveland Indians, they just don't strike me as a team that's going to be a team down the stretch. They're going to have their hot streak. I say 81-81. They'll be third in the AL Central. But I just don't see them going to compete when it's all said and done towards the end of the season. My World Series prediction is going to be Padres and Yankees. Padres went all out last year getting pieces for that team, and they continued this offseason. My AL MVP, like you guys both stated, Mike Trout, one of the best in the business there is. But the NL MVP, do not be surprised if Juan Soto from the Washington Nationals has a career year. We all saw him last year in the shortened season. He was hitting very well for the Nationals. I think that continues in a full 162-game schedule. Juan Soto and the Nationals, I believe, will try to get back to the playoffs and maybe make a run for the World Series. But Padres-Yankees World Series prediction. And when we come back, we have our award-winning segments like My Magic Money Line, Centofanti selections, and our Men on the Silver Mountain. So do not turn that dial. We'll be right back.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Doesn't see race. Love is love.
Welcome back to Sports Corner, everybody, and you know what time it is. Let's get to the Magic Money Line, and yes, it has been bad. Very, very, very bad, and I apologize. I've not been on my game this semester, but you know what? I'm here to give it to you guys. We're going to go with 3 easy games this week. Baylor, minus 400 over Arkansas. I believe they will get into the Final Four. They'll be a 1 seed heading in and beating Arkansas, who hasn't really, been winning the games that they should be by a lot. Second, Gonzaga over USC. That's a minus 434. They're the best team in this tournament. It's their tournament to lose. It's Gonzaga versus the field. You cannot go wrong. And you might not be winning a lot of money, but you'll be getting a very good guaranteed down payment on your next bet. And finally, Michigan, minus 315 over UCLA. This is where things could get a little chippy. Could be a close game with how UCLA has been playing this tournament, but I am trusting Juwan Howard and that Michigan team to represent the Big Ten well. They will get to the Final Four, and we will see the Wolverines, Gonzaga Bulldogs, and Baylor Bears all be 1 seeds head into this Final Four with ease.
Actually might start placing some bets these next 5 days, partner. For my Centofanti selections, the Indians being back in our hearts and minds, it's a good thing. And like I said earlier, we need to stop being so down to the wire negative about this lineup. We still have an MVP caliber player in Jose Ramirez, Gold Glove catcher, the best pitcher in baseball in Shane Bieber. The Indians may not make the postseason, but we have seen teams lose big-name free agents and come back. Bieber, the Washington Nationals. They came back better than ever in the next season. And baseball is back. The American pastime is back when we need it the most, and we, as fans of the Cleveland Indians, need to be a little bit more positive. And for my men on the Silver Mountain, it is the rebirth of the greatest program in the history of NCAA men's basketball, the UCLA Bruins. Yes, the program that started it all in terms of the blue blood dominance is now 1 game away from going back to the Final Four for the first time since 2008. UCLA had 6 players in double figures yesterday in their win against Alabama, and the Bruins' success in the tournament is good for college basketball. Why? Because they are a pinnacle for the sport, that's why. When the Bruins win, everyone wins, and it's great to see Westwood have a winning program once again.
My man on the Silver Mountain is going to be Africa's own Francis Ngannou. Now, Africa has 3 world champions after Saturday's heavyweight title fight, and it would be a no-brainer for me not to include Francis Ngannou on my man on the Silver Mountain this week. After losing to Cleveland's own Stipe Miocic back in 2018, Ngannou took a hard look at himself and made adjustments just like any UFC fighter, and after winning 4 straight fights, all by way of TKO, he showed major improvements on Saturday, and after stuffing the takedown by Miocic in the first round, which caused problems before, Francis got his TKO, he won in style, and you couldn't have asked for anything more. Francis Ngannou will most likely face John Jones in the heavyweight title fight coming up next, but we don't know for sure. Dana White will make that decision soon, but congratulations to Francis Ngannou nonetheless. I mean, I lost money on Saturday. It is what it is, but you know, I have to give respect where respect needs to be given. Dante.
Of course, I mean, it's hard to see one of our own go down, but it was truly a great fight. It was a very, very good fight. And I'm not that big of a USC fan, as you know, but it was a good fight. It was great nonetheless.
And this isn't no indictment on Stipe Miocic. He has had a great title reign, but when you get older in age, sometimes the pinnacles have to fall, and we all don't stay young. Let's just get that out the way right now. So, Stipe, thank you so much, and hopefully you get another title shot. But that's all we have for tonight on Sports Corner. Thank you guys for watching. From Austin Arnold
and Dante Centofanti.
See you later, and have a great rest of your week and night.